All right, I talked a little bit about this, but one of the big things that is a big challenge for organizations is timing and transparency. So obviously it's trying to get information out there as quick as possible when you have people who are standing there with their cell phones or trying to give a play-by-play tweet of everything that is going on. But the other part of it is being transparent. And there is a big call for transparency that has really grown a lot in the past few years. Specifically related to public safety and government organizations. But I think that some of the simple things that you can keep in mind in doing that is say what you can when you can. And, you know, sometimes just stating the obvious is something that people don't do. I was providing training working with one of the local counties here in their homicide investigators course, and we incorporated a media component where we would do an exercise where, hey, if the media showed up to your scene and they started asking questions and we did a simple interview, what would you do? So I would show up with a camera and with a microphone and did kind of a mock interview. And it was crazy to me that I would ask them, you know, hey, can you confirm, you know, we have a homicide here with one suspect. Can you tell me what you know? And they'd say, incident is under investigation, we can't confirm. And I would say, well, I'm seeing that there's a bag over there with something that appears to be a body. We have the coroners on scene and your little name placard says homicide detective. So I'm pretty sure that that would be a clue that we're dealing with a homicide, but they wouldn't even state the very basic, obvious nature of the incident. So say what you can when you can is kind of a good go by. And also just a reminder, being the news source, not relying on the public or even the news. If you go and you put out a statement first, before even the news media is able to put out a statement, even if you're doing an interview, give your story first, then go and put information out to the media again, so that way you are going to be leading the news story. Sometimes when you're dealing with controversy, when you're dealing with things that are negative, that might not look so great, or sometimes mistakes happen, that you just show up and you own it. Sometimes just dress up, step up, and fess up. I heard that one time at a training, and that always stood with me, that you got to just kind of own it and ride through the waves of the incident and just deal with it. And the quicker you can deal with that, the easier that you will be able to recover. And, you know, I dealt with that. We had I've dealt with incidents, a lot of times it's dealing with personnel misconduct, where you have personnel that's arrested for whatever reason. We see that in the news, unfortunately, happen. And I just read one in the news where there was a county worker, a county employee that was arrested. And it was for, I think it was for child pornography. And, you know, the agency put information out there and just basically said, we're dealing with it. This is what happened. And we're not going to treat it any differently because it was dealing with someone at our department. Obviously, let the justice process run its course, and everybody has a right to fair trial, but here's what we're able to publicly share, which is no different than if it was anybody else. The concept of conditional transparency is something that I unfortunately have to have a lot of very candid conversations with agencies about. I've heard and sat in on meetings and had people reach out to me frustrated with their department's managing of communications because they aren't being transparent. I even see for agencies that do critical incident videos with body-worn camera footage that they are putting together their edited version they put out to the public, which is not what you would put out there if you got a request for the footage. You would give them everything with the redactions, but they're even editing these critical incident videos in a way that is just, to be honest with you, misleading. Or they're not putting out videos on certain incidents when they're putting them out on others because maybe it doesn't look as good. And I call that conditional transparency, and it has to be one way or the other. And if you ask any organization, if you ask any chiefs, sheriffs, supervisors, hey, are you guys transparent? Do you take pride in being transparent with the community? Everyone will say yes. But when it comes down to the intricacies of what that looks like when crisis happens, that's going to be the true test of, are you truly transparent, or are you an agency that is conditionally transparent?